everybody knows that. The idea that might disturb the public order in the United Kingdom is hilarious. Boo. You're hearing me now. Are you disturbed? Is the public order in disarray as we speak?
Earlier on this summer, the then Home Secretary, and she is actually still the Home Secretary now, Shabana Mahmood, banned 2 left-wing commentators from entering the UK. Cenk Uygur and his nephew, Hassan Piker, had planned to attend the South by Southwest London conference, with Uygur also booked to appear at an event in Oxford. The Home Office, however, claimed both men had been refused entry on the grounds that their presence in the UK may not be conducive to the public good. This was similar to what happened to Kanye West as well when the Wireless Festival was cancelled. Now, despite the change in government, Uygur still claims he's being barred from entering the UK. He claims because of his criticisms of Israel. And Cenk Uygur, Turkish-American political activist, broadcaster and host of The Young Turks, joins me now. Good evening, Cenk.
Hey there, how you doing?
Very well, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us. Critics describe you as anti-Semitic and claim that you promote classic anti-Semitic tropes, such as claims that Israel controls America. Why do you state those accusations?
Yeah, so first of all, almost every critic of Israel gets called an anti-Semite, and everybody knows that. The idea that might disturb the public order in the United Kingdom is hilarious. Boo. You're hearing me now. Are you disturbed? Is the public order in disarray as we speak? So in terms of being an anti-Semite, we'll have to defend ourselves against these witch hunt-like charges anyway, so I'll do it. First of all, I'm an atheist, and I find the idea that different human beings from different religions, Jewish, Muslim, Christian, etc., are somehow, genetically different? Absurd. Patently absurd. I would never treat the religions differently, and that's a matter of philosophical and intellectual integrity for me. Second of all, I have Jewish family, so do I hate my nephew and niece? No, I don't. That's absurd. And I founded the Young Turks with 2 Jewish friends, lifelong friends. So but it's actually worse than that, because I believe they're being anti-Semitic. 63% of American Jews are against the current Israeli government. So when people, including at this point the United Kingdom's government, says that if you oppose Israel, you're an anti-Semite, but on top of that, if you want to, basically Israel equals Jews, right? And Israel's committed a genocide, so that means all Jews are in favor of the genocide. Well, that's just not true. It's not even remotely true. And I think it's anti-Semitic to say that.
Cenk, do you think Israel has committed a genocide?
Well, obviously. I mean, we all have eyes and ears, don't we? Gaza's obliterated, and we saw the starving children with our own eyes. So, I mean, the people in power think they can trick us by just repeating propaganda. No, don't look at all of the dead, over 76,000 at a minimum, over 167,000 injured, 90% of the buildings either destroyed or damaged. Of course, as George Orwell brilliantly put it, the most essential command is that you ignore the evidence of your eyes and ears.
There have been disputes as to the validity of some of the numbers of casualties that have come from the Hamas health authorities, and other people would
That's actually not true.
Other people would also argue, Cenk, that Israel is not committing a genocide. That's clearly a position that you disagree with. But you've been a vocal critic of Israel's actions in Gaza and also in the West Bank, which many people argue doesn't get enough attention. What do you make of the situation in the West Bank at the moment?
Yeah. So just real quick on you saying that it's in dispute. Just because Israel says it's in dispute doesn't mean that it's in dispute. Yeah, the Turks say that the Armenian genocide is in dispute, but yet no one says that that's in dispute. So, no, you should ignore the Israelis. They're the biased ones who committed the genocide. Everyone else on planet Earth knows that it's a genocide.
Well, Israel would dispute that.
Well, ironically, they would, yes. And I'm sure that every time you bring up the Armenian genocide or maybe the Holocaust, you say it's in dispute. Because some people dispute it? No, that's outrageous.
But I want your thoughts on the West Bank, Cenk.
Okay, all right. So the West Bank is in abysmal shape right now. Israel is dividing it, and they took Area C. They are brutalizing the Palestinians that live there. The settlers are almost never punished. They commit endless crimes, and they're terrorists. The settlers are indisputably terrorists. They attack civilians all the time. Now it's gotten so vicious. They are threatening rape. They are trying to urinate on the citizens there, including the kids. They're stalking the bathrooms. And why is this? It's in an effort to drive out the Palestinians from the West Bank and from Gaza. And in the West Bank, they're doing it because they believe, because they're religious fundamentalists. And that's how most terrorists think. Oh, God whispered in my ear that I need to kill you and take your land. And he whispered it 3,000 years ago. Okay, yeah, but I'm not interested in that kind of lunatic talk. So the settlers are a scourge upon this globe, and by the way, Israel, they're doing great damage. As long as the settlers keep up their vicious terrorism against the Palestinians, the world is obviously and understandably going to not like Israel. And it's not based on their religion, it's based on their actions. They use their religion as an excuse, and it's really disgusting because most Jews across the world don't agree with what the settlers are doing in the West Bank and don't agree with the current Israeli government.
Cenk, I know a lot of Jewish people, friends of mine, who don't agree with what's going on in the West Bank. But when we talk about the actions of what some people call settlers in the West Bank, when you talk about threatening rape and urinating on significant sites, this is the first I've heard of that. Can you tell us a bit more about that? What's your source for that information?
Yeah. B'Tselem is an Israeli human rights group that does terrific work. There's actually a lot of great people inside Israel, obviously. And the Israeli press is actually quite good, way better than the American press. So they carry a lot of things that are true that the American press then and Western press in general does not pick up on. I think the Western press is enormously biased in favor of Israel, and they don't like to report things that are damaging, that they perceive to be damaging to Israel. But if you look at the Israeli press and the Israeli human rights organizations, they do a wonderful job of pointing out all these issues. And by the way, also from the Israeli press and human rights groups, we find out that the Israelis are systematically raping detainees. So they're raping women, men, and yes, sometimes they're even using dogs to do it. And the New York Times pointed that out. And every time you point out something that is indisputably true and comes from inside Israel itself, the Israelis howl. You're not allowed to say that. You're all anti-Semites. Never criticize Israel. We just have to tune them out. They're, by definition, the most biased people on earth on that issue. And their opinions are illegitimate, but the facts on the ground, proven by the human rights organizations and the Israeli press, are very relevant. And by the way, you should know, same situation when it comes to the IDF and their civilian kill ratio. Hamas is considered a terrorist group, rightfully so, because they kill 67% civilians. The IDF has a 83% civilian kill ratio. They definitely intend to kill civilians, and they kill them at monstrous rates. Now, over 70 October 7th done on Gaza, and October 7th done on the West Bank. The number of civilians killed more than on October 7th, and a couple of October 7ths in Lebanon and Iran as well.
Cenk, I'm so sorry. I wish we had more time. I do really want to get your thoughts on Tucker Carlson. I'm sure someone that was speaking from an Israeli perspective would dispute a lot of what you're saying about Israel wanting to kill civilians deliberately. But let's move on to Tucker Carlson, because I really want to get your thoughts on this. Tucker Carlson, one of your fellow Americans, has released a 10-point manifesto, and there's whispers that he could run for president in 2028. How would he compare to Trump, in your view, or even Vance?
Oh, infinitely better. So I don't agree with everything that Tucker says at all. I definitely disagree with him on his view on feminism, LGBTQ rights, and plenty of other social issues, right? But on the issue of war, American sovereignty, Israel, Tucker is the polar opposite of Donald Trump and J.D. Vance. So I believe him that he is genuinely anti-war, and I never once believed that Trump or Vance were anti-war.
Cenk Uygur, thank you so much for your time. Really great to have you on Times Radio. That was Turkish-American political activist and broadcaster, also the host and co-founder of the Young Turks, Cenk Uygur. Thank you so much for joining us.